guys, and welcome back to another video in my life as a medical student. So I just began a new rotation. So this 2-week elective rotation is called Fundamental Procedures. So basically what I will be doing is working both in the outpatient lab, doing blood draws with the phlebotomist, also going up on the inpatient floors, seeing patients admitted in the hospital, and also doing blood collections, and also working in the emergency room where I will be doing IVs and something called arterial blood gases, or ABGs, which is collecting blood from your arteries instead of your veins. So basically fundamental procedures that I will get the opportunity to get hands-on experience doing that you don't always get to do in medical school, ironically enough. So these are procedures that often phlebotomy does or the nursing staff does in hospitals that have the capability to employ people to do these things. So medical students often graduate without having direct exposure to doing these procedures. So then when we get to residency, it's like, whoa, we've never done that, you know? So this elective rotation will give me the opportunity to do that. So I'm super excited. So we are gonna kick the day off in the outpatient lab doing blood draws. So let's get it started. All right, friends, so in the spirit of learning how to draw blood and being on this fundamental procedures elective, I wanted to share with you guys basically like a real life demonstration of how I draw blood. I'm going to use myself as a dummy. A lot of people in medical school use each other, their peers, you know, individuals who will volunteer themselves to kind of practice on, to learn, because practice really does make perfect. And you want to try as best as you can to hone in on your skills before actually practicing on patients. Not only because it spares the patient's pain and multiple pricks and all of that, but some patients want experienced providers who know what they're doing, who have experience drawing blood and don't want to be practiced on. So if you can confidently say that I've done this before and you know what you're doing, then it puts you in a better space to learn more and do more as a medical student. So obviously, don't try this at home, you guys. Make sure you have the supplies that are needed. Make sure you do so in a way that is sterile, that is supervised, and so that if anything goes wrong, there is help. So for just a basic blood draw, when you are getting blood work, getting labs drawn, getting tubes of blood taken, we use a regular standard needle. So sometimes they come like this, which is like a butterfly needle. You can see that there is this little clip on the back that allows the person sticking to grab and have more control over the needle. Sometimes it just comes as a single needle, which is the same thing. It's a needle. It just, whether or not it has that butterfly clip on it or not is the difference. Needles also come in different sizes. So they come in different sizes called gauges. So that determines how wide the hole of the needle is, how wide the tube is essentially. That also determines how fast the blood is going to flow through. Whether it is wider or narrower determines the blood flow, and that goes back to like physics and stuff like that. But just know that if it's wider, it flows faster. I believe that that's correct. So we have our needle. Make sure you have gloves, an alcohol swab or something to sterilize with, whichever tube you are collecting the blood with, and your tourniquet. So this is what you're gonna apply to the area of the body just proximal, so just before where you are going to draw the blood, So proximal in medical student terms or in anatomy terms, right? Proximal means closer to the core. So if you're in an arm, right, and you're drawing blood from here, then proximally would go toward the core. So anywhere here is proximal. Anything from this point distal is gonna be down the arm. So first things first, when you are going to draw blood with phlebotomy or as a medical student or whatever, is to find good veins. A good vein that looks very stickable, that is real juicy and prominent, that allows you to have visual access to it so that you know, okay, this is a good point to insert a needle in, right? Luckily for me, I have really good veins. I always have. They're very like prominent. They're very at the surface of my skin and very visible. So I never really have trouble when I'm getting blood drawn or anything like that. And that's why I'm very confident practicing on myself and having blood drawn, because I know I'm a very good stick. So you guys can see here, I have a really juicy one there. You can see them so well in my hands as well. So very, very easy stick. I'm gonna go ahead and apply my tourniquet proximally to the side at which I'm gonna draw. Although, you know, patients get annoyed and yes, it's tight, it needs to be tight. You want the tourniquet to be tight. And yes, patients might complain and you don't have to amputate an arm, but you definitely want it to make those veins back up, that blood to back up, right? And not be able to get back up. And it makes the veins more juicy. So, and you will see some people flick veins or tap them to try to get the blood flowing a little more and to make them a little more prominent on the surface. And you can see very well just how prominent my vein is there, right? And if you run your finger over my vein, you can feel it literally right at the surface. And another thing about veins is that when you press on them, you feel them compress, right? Because veins are very spongy, very elastic, very compressible. So when you press them, you can feel it go down. They call it like the mattress. You feel like a mattress go down, up, down, up. I'm gonna put a glove on this hand. I'm gonna go ahead and sterilize my skin. So one thing about this butterfly clip is that right here on the front, you can see the little black retractor, and that is a retractor that pulls the needle back automatically. So when you've collected all the tubes of blood that you need and the needle is either still in the skin or a little bit out, you could pull back a little bit, and you press this black clip, it retracts the needle back into the butterfly, back into this part, and it's no longer accessible to you to be stuck by. So it's a safety measure that protects nurses, phlebotomists from being stuck by needles. You also want to hold the butterfly in such a way that that black clip is on top so that it's not underneath your hand. All right, so I brought you guys in close so you can see. I am gonna feel my vein one more time to get my placement, and then I'm going to stick. You know you have access and that you're in the vein when you see blood in the butterfly needle. So there's a little transparent part right here, and you will see the red of the blood in there. So you know that you are definitely in the vein. I'm gonna hook up my tube for blood and start drawing, and there comes blood. I'm not gonna draw more because it was just for demonstration and I don't need this blood. So when you are about done collecting all of your blood, you're going to release the tourniquet because you don't need the resistance anymore. Can put some gauze there to hold it. And then I'm going to press that black clip and retract my needle. And you can see there that there's no needle exposed. Go ahead and put a little Band-Aid on, and it's all set. My blood, my blood. So that is my personal demonstration on how I draw blood from that area of the body. You can also do it in the hand, like I showed you guys my veins. You can also draw blood from other veins throughout the body as long as there is access and you get a needle in the vein. On this elective rotation, I've also had the opportunity to put in IVs. So it's a very similar process, you guys. except that you're actually leaving the needle in and you're securing it with tape on the arm or on the hand, because it doesn't move, it's going to stay there. And it's through that IV that nurses can administer drugs, can administer fluids, can draw blood. So the IVs are really used for patients who are going to be in the hospital for a while, a few days, and it's just easier for them to not have to be stuck every day, multiple times a day, and rather they have an IV in their arm that can be used for blood collection or medication administration. So very similar needle, very similar mechanism. The only thing with the IV needles is that they're much longer, and they also have this driver on it. You see here, this contraption that allows you to really drive the needle far into the vein, and then you pull back on that holder, on that driver, and it fixes the needle into the vein. And then that's when you secure it with tape and you leave the rest of the IV hanging for administration of medications and whatnot. So very similar process. It's a little more intimidating because, you know, it's a longer needle and it's fixed once it's there. Whereas just regular pricks of drawing blood, you can do them multiple times if you need to, and there's multiple locations you can try in. That is very easy to just do, get your blood and go, whereas IVs are kind of fixed, and you don't want to be poking and prodding patients with IV needles multiple times. So that is my demonstration for you guys. As I said, please, please, please do not try this at home. Please be secure and safe and sterile in your practices, not only as a student, but in general. Be sure that you practice. Practice makes perfect. And if you have a fear of needles, you know, try to get over that, because you will be using them as a physician at some point, right? Thankfully, I feel like I have been trained really well on this rotation to do blood draws and put in IVs, and I really did have good phlebotomist training me and overseeing me and giving me tips and pointers of angle the needle this way, how about try this way, do this vein here, tighten your tourniquet, you know. So it's been extremely helpful to get that feedback and to be, you know, observed and whatnot. So find that experience in medical school while you have the chance to and are still a student and are learning, because really truly practice makes perfect. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this little demonstration, and let's get back to the rotation. All right, gang, welcome back to another week of Med Student Chronicles. So this week we are at the Veterans Hospital, the VA. So for this final week of my 2-week elective, I'm gonna be here in the Veterans Hospital ED, the emergency department, doing IVs, blood draws, any procedures that need to be done in the emergency room. All right, guys, so that wraps up this 2-week elective fundamental procedures. The first week I was in the hospital doing blood draws in the outpatient lab, going up on the floors for the patients admitted in the hospital and drawing their blood as well. So pretty much working with the phlebotomy team for that first week. For the second week, I was in the Veterans Hospital doing blood collections again, but also doing IV placements in the arm or in the hand at some points, as well as EKGs, assisting in procedures that were happening in the emergency room. I got to help drain an abscess out of someone's butt, so that was kind of cool. It was something to do, you know. So overall, my thoughts on the elective was that it was super cool, you guys. I've been through nearly 4 years of medical school, and through all of that time, I did not have nearly as much hands-on experience doing things such as blood collecting and IV placement and things like that as I did in these 2 weeks, not even on surgery or anything. So it was just a good experience for me to hone in on a different skill set that I most likely will need in residency. So overall, my thoughts on this elective is that it was a 10 out of 10 experience, you guys. Even in this 2 weeks, I did more hands-on training with IVs and blood collecting than I have during my entire 4 years of medical school. So I'm super appreciative of that, because I want to go into residency feeling prepared that I can do anything, you know what I mean? So it was a great 2 weeks. I got to do so much just hands-on things. All of that to say, make sure you guys stay open-minded with which classes or wherever you're at in your journey, which electives you're putting on your schedule, because you never know which ones you can leave with such great experiences that might help you on down the line. Last thing I want to mention as I close out this video is that I had the amazing opportunity to meet this young woman named Shannell in the emergency department. She was an employee at the Veterans Hospital, and we sat throughout my shifts and connected on, you know, different topics, social media, poetry, all of that. And she left me a card, you guys. She gave me a card today on my last day. So I haven't opened it yet, so I'm gonna go ahead and open it. Let the adventure begin. This is such a cute card. It says, "Dear Julia, I wish you all the best on your journey. Keep striving for excellence and greatness. Thank you for sacrificing so much of your life to help others. Your choice in becoming a doctor is by far the greatest gift you could give the world. God bless you." And she gave me a gift card, you guys, that says, "You're awesome." Woo! Oh my goodness. And it says, "It was a pleasure meeting you." No, it was a pleasure meeting you, Shannell. I was at the VA for 5 days this week, you guys, and we literally just sat and talked to like pass the time when we were both, you know, free. And she's such an amazing, not only person, but she is an amazing writer, an amazing poet, an actress, and I am totally so just like, my heart right now, you know what I mean? Like, which goes to the point of you never know who you're gonna cross paths with and connect in life, and be a good person. Like, talk to people, get to know them and their life story. You never know what somebody has knowledge or experience that could benefit you or teach you something, or you can teach them something. So thank you so much, Shannell. Everyone go follow Shannell the writer on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, whatever. Blow her up. She's so talented, and I want to support her and show her as much love as she just showed me. So thank you so much. Oh my God. Oh my gosh, I'm like a big crybaby, but thank you, Shannell, and thank you all for your support. So the things like what Shannell just did by going out of her way to show me love and support and uplift me, and what you guys continue to do on my channel by showing me continued support, is really what drives me, you guys. And I wouldn't be here without those words of encouragement and you guys continuing to tell me and show me how much what I do and what I post means to you. So for that, I will absolutely keep going. So check out my description box below, you guys. I'm gonna tag all of Shannell's handles. Please go show her some love and support and uplift her in her strive for greatness and to express her art. So yeah, thank you. As always, I love you, family. Be safe, be well, and I will see you next time.